Welcome everyone to the Circle Debate, Cage My Accused of Wrestling Delorean New Japan Show podcast here, ladies and gentlemen. One of the greatest New Japan podcast show here around the world, Craig, because we got two of the very best right here of all time. Let me go ahead and introduce, of course, the man with the last name Money, because it's about money, money. Yeah, about money, yeah. That is right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike De Niro.
What's good, everybody?
And Wrestling Delorean. And of course, the man with the IQ that I wish you could fucking tell Gato what the hell's wrong with you. But we'll get into that. But tell Bushy Board and tell Gato what the fuck, man. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, our other host, Dan.
What's going on, everybody?
What is going on? And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this fantastic finale. Since obviously yesterday we had episode 115, so we couldn't really cover it. So we're doing it today here on this lovely Friday for all of you guys, as we're covering the G1 Climax semifinals and finals. But man, before we get into it, before we get into the actual, the full, pretty much the semifinals and finals, I want to just give our brief thoughts and overall of what you guys thought about these four incredible blocks that happened. First time in history, 28 men came in and made history in this block, and a lot of names were made too as well. So I would ask overall, just very brief. So pretty much two questions here. What were your thoughts of the block, and should they do this again next year, or should they go back, make it a 2-block? And who was the one that impressed you overall in this tournament, and who has a future in New Japan? So I'll take it to you, Big Dan. Should they do this again, and who impressed you overall in this tournament?
I definitely like the format because with how everything worked out, it came down, like every block came down to the last day, and even 2 blocks, everybody was in it. But I still like the 2 blocks better, just the A block and the B block, just because I felt like the more matches are better. Like, I think it took a little bit away from the tournament where you had almost more of the prelim, like we call it, the prelim matches, where it was like the 4-on-4, 3-on-3, and then we only had like 4 matches each day, whereas usually it would be 5, maybe 6 on certain nights, and then less of those random matches, because we got a lot of Tito and Jonah against Tom Lawler and Royce Isaac. We had that matchup at least like 8 times this whole tournament, and I talked to a bunch of people, and they said the same thing. They were like, we got a lot of that, a lot of those, the same matchups. And I want them to go back to the 2 just so it focuses more on the matchups and everybody gets more. But I can see why they did it, because it's less wear and tear on everybody doing the 6. I'd be okay if maybe they rotate. Maybe like one year they do the 4 blocks, the next year they do the 2 again, and then rotate it every time. But I'm kind of hit or miss on how the 4 blocks was. Like, there's some great moments from it, but then there was some repetitiveness with the G1.
Right. I get it. I understand. I mean, valid point. But you know what? For me, I'll digress. I'll save you best for last, Nero. I really enjoyed this because the fact that we saw a lot of stars being made, and even though it's 4 block, I know the schedule probably threw us off because we're used to seeing them coming back like almost every day, like wrestling every fucking day on a 2 block, right?
Yeah.
And it's 20 men. It's not adding additional 8 men, so it's 20. But I feel that this is a better way to kind of pretty much giving the talent a little break in a way. So even though you're adding 8 additional guys, but at least those 8 additional guys are coming from strong. At least you could say, for an example, I mean, there wasn't many that came from there, but they can look into that in for the next year's G1 and help develop the talents from strong here in the States and help them, get over with the crowd in Japan. And now that coming up next month, they'll be opening up, Unmasked, and they're willing to go ahead and cheer. So I'm looking forward, and I'm hoping it stays that way for Japan for the following year's G1. And I don't mind this, to be honest, even though I do love the traditional too. But I think this is a better way to develop and build stars overall in New Japan and from Strong. So, De Niro, take it away.
To be honest, I think I like this format a little better than the 2 blocks, just for the fact that it allows more stories being told throughout the tournament. Each block had their own stories being told, and I thought that was a nice touch to this year's G1 because each block you had, for example, the Naito. You had the Naito stuff with, Naito has to work his way back up. The monster block in block A, you had, Okada have to slay all the dragons of, New Japan in block A. In block D, you had the whole Finley rising to the top and going through his. So everyone had their own little stories, and I thought that it allowed for more stories being told. Where other years, it just felt like maybe there was like 1 or 2 stories within the G1, but the rest were just tournament matches. So I think that this definitely allowed for more stories to be told within the tournament. And as for the second question, names that I felt like really stood out, I definitely think that, Finley was a name that really broke out. I think that it also proved that guys like El Phantasmo could hang with the main eventers. It showed that guys like Rock Hard Juice Robinson could be thrown into the main event and really provide a great show. It also showed like some of the mainstays that have been there for a long time, like Yoshihashi and Yujiro Takahashi, and also Chase Owens. These guys have been around for a long time, but it showed that they could hang with the top talent. So I think that a lot of names were made during this G1, which, like, not to spoil anything, which it just pissed me off more about the finals because I felt like, you have so many different names being built here and, you fucking go to the well. But we'll get there.
Just getting right into it right there.
Yeah.
Didn't waste any time.
I'm gonna change my name from Mike De Niro to the spoiler. Sorry, guys.
That's right. Shout out to Nick Nitterding from the Wrestling Delorean Podcast, man. His comment is Lawler didn't necessarily impress me because I know how good he is, but I think this was his coming out party for the casual fan.
He was going to be one of my guys that I thought broke out here because if you saw those last 2 matches with Okada and Jeff Cobb, he went all out. It took Okada rolling him up to beat him. And then we talked about it last week. He systematically just tore down Jeff Cobb and was able to have his way. And then I don't know if you guys saw it. I watched a lot of the prelims for like the past 2 days just because there's only 3 matches, but I got goosebumps watching the stare down between him and Zack Sabre Jr. yesterday. No, 2 nights ago during the semifinals when they had that match, and at the end you had them talking back and forth, and I was like, I need that match. I need Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tom Lawler, 2 submission experts with different backgrounds because one's technical and one's more of like a jiu-jitsu MMA style. So if I could get that in the future, that'd be great. But I had Tom Lawler, Yoshihashi impressed me, and like just like we said, it felt like once he got that belt last year, he's been like a changed man. He's been like more confident and not shy, and he puts on great matches. And then, of course, you guys know me throughout the tournament saying Tama Tonga. He impressed me a lot going from a heel to a face. He's embraced the crowd, the hung tie way now. He beat Jay White. He had a hell of a match against Okada, which we're talking about in a second. And he made that leap. I think he made that leap. But I think I'd be interested to see what they do with him now because he's primarily a tag team specialist. And what happens when Tangaloa comes back? Is he going to go back to just being a tag team artist, or is he going to float between back and forth between the two?
I mean, I have an idea. I think that would be cool if they have Hikuleu kind of break away from the Bullet Club and team up with Tangaloa and have Tama Tonga go out as a singles wrestler, because he really proved that he could be a main event single star and really elevate his game. And I agree with Tim King as well. Thanks for joining. I think that Jonah, Filthy Tom, and ELP all had a coming out party. Yeah. Like, especially Jonah, like that match with Okada and the match with Cobb was phenomenal.
Hey, his name is Shingo's daddy. Remember that.
My bad.
Shout out to our brother Tim, man. Great episode.
Shout out for tuning in.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I agree too. I mean, Jonah, Filthy, and El Fantasma. Now that he's going to stay as a heavyweight, now that he's gone, no longer in the junior heavyweight, I'm really happy for him. Mainly Jonah, I'm really happy for because that's someone that you need in New Japan. Someone like this caliber of his size, he fits very well with the roster. I think bringing TMDK makes a lot of sense for me because it's like you got a lot. His stable is nothing but European guys. They're fucking nothing but European guys. What a better feud to have with United Empire.
Well, they're all. Well, I think all but one of them. They're all from Australia or Australia or New Zealand.
Just except for Batu. I know Batu Tito. He's American, but I mean, everybody else though, like. I would really be, impressed for them to come over. I think that would be fantastic.
And then I'm going to get a little bit into Jonah later. But but another thing I wanted to point out, if they could do next year exactly, if they do the 4 blocks again, if they could do exactly what the Best of the Super Juniors did with how they got a lot of wrestlers from different companies. Like they went to Strong, got a few. Then they went and got Lance Archer from AEW. But the Best of the Super Junior, they had one person from Impact. They had one person from AEW. I think they actually had one or two actually. They had one from 2 other places, and it's just like they scattered their globe and grabbed a bunch of people, and I think that would make it a little bit better than what they did with just a couple strong guys and then one AEW guy.
All right, so I have a question. Who would be your dream G1 participants from other companies? I know I got like 2. I would love if Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli was in next year's G1. I think that both would really fit in and have some epic matches.
Ooh, that's like that'd be good ones from AEW. You know what? Like
I need Danielson, man. I need Danielson in this.
I could see Josh Alexander.
From
Impact. Like
that's a good one.
Him or maybe Moose. I could see him doing it one, or maybe both of them, because those guys have 2 different style backgrounds from Impact.
For sure,
Impact has some really good talent there, and I think with Josh Alexander there, if he was still champion, he probably wouldn't. But even if he didn't, he just has that strong Canadian strong style. Yeah, and for sure. It's meshed well with a lot of talent. And then he does the indies as well. I saw him live when he wrestled Konosuke Takeshita, and they had a great match. And I'm like, I need to see this guy over in Japan using that style against these. Because he does have that hybrid, like submissions. He's like that. He's like the new age Kurt Angle. Put it that way. He's the new age Kurt Angle.
I would agree. I agree.
Shout out Dirty Heels, Kofi Weeks.
Right. We live. Oh, Brian and Claudio. Yes. Oh my God, Claudio.
Yep.
That'll be. Oh man. I mean, shit. I agree. Who else would I actually bring in? I wish WWE could get involved and say, send one of your guys. Send one.
Hey, anything can happen now.
Oh my God. If right now how Paul Levesque is, he can send one. Oh.
Send Seth. That'll be dope.
Oh my God.
See, WWE would be tough to figure a guy out, because it's not gonna be one like a big guy like Roman or Drew.
Well, I could see them sending someone like a Dolph Ziggler. Like
Dolph Ziggler would fit well in it.
Oh shit! Seth, yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
Me and Tim are right here.
I hate to say this. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. But Matt Riddle.
I don't mind that. Actually, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea.
Matt Riddle or Seth, because Matt Riddle has that MMA background. He's wrestled over there. I believe he's wrestled a few times in DDT or Noah. I believe one of the 2. He just has that style that fits well with the Japanese cultural. that would work seamlessly. Like you get a match up there with somebody in one of those blocks. Like I could see like Yoshihashi against Riddle. That would be good.
Send
Shingo against Riddle.
Nakamura one more time back in the G1. That'd be fire.
Oh my God, that'll be a surprise right there.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
And the thing is, see, it might be a little hard with WWE because the way they have talent on every week.
What about Gunther?
Oh, yeah.
Oh man,
Gunther will be a perfect match.
Hell
too. I
yeah.
think Gunther.
Have him come there with the IC title.
that'd be crazy. I just think that it's easier for companies like AEW and Impact to send their wrestlers just for the way they shoot TV. AEW, they seem to cycle wrestlers in and out, and it's not, out of the ordinary to not see someone on AEW for a month. And then for Impact, like the way they shoot TV all like in like a weekend, and then that's the TV for the month. You could have somebody shoot the TV and then still go to Japan, kind of like they did for the Best of the Juniors. They had who was it? Ace Austin and Chris Bay, I believe, were both in it, and they were even missed on Impact because they shot the TV beforehand, so they were still on Impact television as well.
Yeah, which
because they Impact does like the once a month tapings.
Yeah,
but then they've been adding those Friday. With that, they've been able to add this Friday YouTube only
special events,
special events, which has been used. So it's
oh
been
my
easy
God,
for Impact.
Miro will be sick. Oh
Miro said in an interview that when he came to AEW, the original plan was to do AEW and New Japan, but New Japan was shut down due to the pandemic. So I'm just waiting for Miro to go to Japan. I think that he would be a monster in Japan. And I know for a long time, Jonah been wanting to have a match with Miro, so please give me that.
But I also could think it could be somebody from NXT because they would have more leeway at NXT. Like a guy like Solo Sikoa going over there with that Samoan background. Put him in there. Yeah. And then with like if you had to do somebody from Best of Super Juniors from WWE, Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo Hayes is underrated. I'm telling you, Carmelo Hayes is going to be a monster on that main roster when he finally comes
put him in that Best of Super Juniors. You get Carmelo Hayes against like Hiromu or something like that, or because he's not there, like him against Ishimori.
I can throw one name. Who I see who could probably will revamp his career, which I don't think obviously he needs it, but I think if for him to take out that ruthless aggression, Kevin Owens, I think he will fit perfect. I
don't think he would though. That's the thing.
I know, he wouldn't do it. But man, yeah, exactly. You wearing the fucking shit. Oh my God, hell yeah. Yo, Kevin Owens. Oh my God.
The thing with Kevin Owens is he hates going to Japan because he had when he went to Dragon Gate, I believe, when he was early on his career, his wife gave birth and he was stuck in Japan. And he said after that, I'll never travel that far without if it's like a short little tour, I would never travel that far without my family and my kids with me. But Kevin Owens would fit perfectly too. I think he would be able to that's why I loved when Kevin Owens was still there in Ring of Honor when they were having the partnership with New Japan, and you saw him have matches against Shinsuke Nakamura, and he did other stuff too. But that would be awesome.
Absolutely, yeah, man. Yeah, it's Jesus. Oh,
all right,
let's get into reality.
It. No more fantasy. Let's get to reality.
We are gonna get into the semifinals because that's where we want to get into it. So let's start off with, of course, the opening of this match, and that is Tetsuya Naido versus Will Offspring. Now, man, all I want to say is this match, I'll get it out of the way, was wow. It's the chef's kiss. It was amazing. And seeing these two guys for the first time colliding, which I'm still mind boggled. How the hell that these guys have been in New Japan, and never face each other one-on-one? That's what really got me what the fuck? But I mean, I guess because at the time Osprey was a junior heavyweight and never really competed. Yeah. But I mean, they did have the J Cup where they mixed it up, so that's why I'm trying to get an understanding. But overall, I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed the reversals towards the end, and especially with Naito trying to hit the Destino, but then Osprey caught him off guard and then went with the hidden fucking blade. and that was it. Like and what won me over on was with Ospreay is the post conference after that heart and soul promo that he really. I need to win this. I need to fucking beat Naido, Okada. I need to. It's just like, oh my god, that was the goal, and his goal is to beat, Okada, and I really enjoyed it. And Will Ospreay's a man. Will Ospreay's a fucking man. He's a GOAT. I think I'm gonna get shitted on this. For me, he's my number one guy right now. I love AJ, but I think he's the number one wrestler right now in the world.
It's hard to argue that.
It's hard to argue that. It's hard to debate that. As a professional wrestler, I would say, even as an entertainer, because he's getting up there. He's up there as an entertainer. He entertains me. When he first turned heel, him going, look at my watch, look at everything, how he began with United Empire. And you know what's funny? It's funny that my roommate was like, have you noticed that his attire is all Gucci? And I'm like, I didn't fucking realize that shit because I don't pay attention to the attire. And I'm like, look at the sign.
Well, he changed everything, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, shit, right, it is. I didn't fucking realize that it's all fucking Gucci.
Just the jacket. He changed the jacket not long ago to where it's more flashy.
It's the $10,000 robe.
His knee pads, because he has the symbol right there. And that's why I'm like, I went back and looked at him, I'm like, no way, really? And then he does. I'm like, that's insane. I didn't realize that. So, I mean, shit. I loved it. It was, of course, it was match of the night, man. Naido as well. Everybody was under the impression this could be Naido's night again, going one more time, but no, that's it. I mean, Naido unfortunately lost, and hey, I don't see him coming back next year to the G1. If depending how they do it, I still don't see him. I don't see him coming back.
It might be too much on his body at this point.
I believe so. I mean, that's how I feel about that. So take it away, Big Dan.
I liked in the beginning how they made the notion of Ospreay loves LIJ. Like he's made, like, ever since he's hit up to New Japan, he would have those great matches with Hiromu Takahashi. He moves up the heavyweight, and just in the past year, he had that rivalry with Shingo. He took the belt from basically Sonata, and then now the one guy left to get his hands on was Naito, the leader, all in the span of a year. Mm-hmm. And he gets him in the semifinals. In the beginning, I thought it was the funny moment where he goes to hit him, act like he's going to do the hidden blade, and Naito lays down and goes like this, looks at him, and he's like, fist bump. And that's how the match started. So it's like the match started. You got Naito, who's known for mocking people and to getting them off their game. I thought the match started kind of slow, but picked up really quickly. I like the point where he goes to do the Stormbreaker the first time, and then he goes and reverses it into Destino. I thought that was really neat. He doesn't get over in time, kicks out at 2. One time after that, Ospreay goes, he hits the hidden braid, but he doesn't cover him right away. And I kind of questioned it. I'm like, why doesn't he go? He wanted to finish him with the Stormbreaker. That for some reason this match he had it mind made out. I gotta hit him with the Stormbreaker. And he couldn't do it the first couple of times. He just kept on getting reversed. And that's how the last half of the match goes. But then he finally gets him with it. He reverses him. He hits him with the Stormbreaker and wins. Like, I like how he kind of did the reverse with his finishers with the Hidden Blade and Stormbreaker. We haven't seen him use the Stormbreaker all tournament and for at least a month or two. And he's kind of went away from it, and he brings it back now for special occasions. He brings it back for these important matches, and it makes the move like more important now, because I thought he used it way too much, and then he would bring in Hidden Blade and then use it afterwards, and then it would be more of like a setup move. So it took away from the importance of the Stormbreaker. But now that he's not doing it as much, and he's only bringing it back for important matches, it's bringing the importance of the move back. And then that's how he won it here. And I thought that was a nice touch on this match, because you could have just ended it with the hidden blade. But no, he wanted to hit the breaker on him, and he did, and he moves to the finals. And I agree with you. I love the presser afterwards. I loved how he wanted this finals. He wanted to win it, because they made it a point to say against OKADA, the only time he's beat him was when he had Great O'Khan appear, distracted him, and then he won with the Stormbreaker, and then he formed United Empire. That's the only time he's ever beat OKADA.
Love it. De Niro.
This matchup was really good. Really, really good. I like how they had that real short feeling out process in the beginning, but then once they got into it, and it felt like this was a long-term rivalry. Like the way they were wrestling, it didn't feel like this is the first time that they were in the ring with each other. Like you could feel like the tension was there, but also the angst, because this is the semifinals. It had that big match feel, and it just felt special to me. If this is Naito's last hurrah in the G1, then I think that he goes out with a bang, because this matchup was a really good matchup. I like what Dan was saying about how he pulled out the Stormbreaker, and I think that that's amazing, because he's showing that he has more in his repertoire, and he has those hidden weapons. He does so many moves, but hey, at any time I could pull out something else that could finish you as well.
What was that move? He made a new move, and the commentator didn't even know what the name of it was. Where he go to do it looked like he goes to do not the power driver, the tombstone, but he crosses the legs, and then he just
that was nasty.
That was nasty.
They didn't have a name for it. He was like, Kevin Canelli goes on commentary. He's like, what is this new move he's doing? He's like, I don't even know the name of it.
It's so innovative.
He just plays it off. I like that. I like seeing more of the Chelsea Grim, which is more of a up close, a hidden blade. He hadn't used that too much up until this tournament. He used that as a setup move heel. You would see it a couple of times. I like seeing that. I like to see more innovative Will Ospreay like we did in this tournament. He knew that once he went on that losing streak, he had to step it up. He had to bring more out of himself, and he did. And that's how he got to this point, and that's how he got into the finals.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree with that. I think that he played it really well, where he made sure throughout the tournament he didn't bring out some of these moves, because he was going to bring it out in the big matches that mattered the most. And I think that that's the marks of a veteran wrestler. If you look at Will Ospreay from even 5 years ago and then compare him to now, he's such a well-rounded wrestler now, and he's got the full complete package where, I always liked Will Ospreay, but everyone would say he was more of a spot monkey back in the day. He wasn't this technical wrestler. He didn't have much of a character. Now I feel like we have a well-rounded wrestler, and he's just the complete package now. And I think that he's going to go really far. And I'm glad that he won this matchup. As much as I knew they were building with the story that this might be Naito's last tournament, I didn't want, as bad as this sounds, and there's no disrespect because I'm a big Naito fan, I didn't want Naito to get the pity win. You know what I mean? I didn't want Naito to get the win because, it might be his last. So I'm glad that they went with the guy who is fresh and the guy who's, hot right now. Will Ospreay is a hot commodity right now. Naito, he's a legend and he's a Hall of Famer, but it's he's on his last leg. So why cool down what's hot for, I don't know. I just think that I was scared about that. And I was happy that they went with the route of Ospreay winning this.
If you look at Ospreay, one guy that you would always compare to him when he was in New Japan was him and Ricochet. They would have those great matches. They were basically the same style wrestler.
The matches that Vader hated.
Yeah, exactly. But you see where they've gone since then to now. Ricochet came to WWE and he stick to that style. He hasn't gotten bigger. He hasn't kind of improved his body or changed his style of wrestling. But then you got Ospreay, who was that skinny. He's bulked up. He literally ate another human being with how big he is right now. It's not even.
He ate Ricochet.
He ate Ricochet, And then he got bigger even more than that because he's got huge. I think that pandemic where he took the 6-7 months off helped him. That was huge. It was kind of like Moxley. Moxley, he was big, but then he took 8 months from the injury, got huge because he used the time wisely, like working the weight room.
Yeah.
And then Ospreay like switched up his moveset. He did more ground attacks and not all like high flying moves because he knew that if he wanted to move up to the heavyweights, that he has to do that because that's the high flying style is not going to cut it with the big guys on a 4-time schedule, and that's why he's jumped to like a main event like style, whereas Ricochet is like mid carder at best right now because of the jump and the work that he's done to improve himself.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I feel like Ricochet stuck to what he knows, where Will Ospreay went out and tried to become more of a better wrestler.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that 100%. And, of course, we get into the other semifinals. Kazuchika Okada.
Signing out. Bye, guys.
We get into that. And, yes.
What's up, Cleveland?
And, yes, we get into this one because, I mean, I say this one because we all had the impression that we were going to see Tama Tonga win. And, man, I'm not going to lie. This match was overall fantastic. I enjoyed it. Every bit of it. A great storytelling, from Tama Tonga. Like, I have to beat this man. I need to get the Jay White. And, man, those reversals with the gun. Oh, my God, the gun stun.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, man. And right here is where it hyped me up. I was like, okay, come on, pin him. What are you doing? Pin him. And no, man. The momentum came back from Okada, of course, the Rainmaker, and he got a 3 count. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, okay, yes. I was like,
hey, yo, what the fuck? Damn. You son of a bitch.
Yes, that's how it was. I as much as we love Okada, but we need something new, damn it.
Like, why? I just want a preference. Like, we're probably all going to like rant about this.
Yes.
This is in no way, no disrespect to Okada. In my opinion, Okada is the best wrestler in the world. I think that Okada is amazing. So I don't want any of us to, I don't want no one to hear us rant about why is Okada winning these matches and then think that, oh, we're like Okada haters. Just wanted to put that out there because I think that Okada is the man.
Yes. But take it away, then.
There's 2 words that that just pinpoint this matchup: ruthless aggression. That's what this match symbolized to me because he got
ruthless aggression.
Sorry,
that's what Okada brought out of Tama Tonga here. Like every time he would get hit, you thought, "Oh my God!" He hit him with the clothesline. Boom! He would just pop up. Oh my God! Hulk up, and then the crowd would just feed into it. They fed into just how these two wanted to win the match. Like just like you said, the reversals. He had how many times did he go for the Rainmaker? Like 5-6 times, and then Tama Tonga would reverse it. And one time he did the Bloody Sunday as a reversal from that. The other time he went to hit the gun stun. He got caught in, but then he got popped up, and then in return he wound up doing he did it several times off of the clothesline. It's one of their patented moves where he inverted DDT and he slams him over.
I forgot the name of it.
I forgot the name of that move, but I know what you're talking about.
But like he did it like 2-3 times. Like he just read him well, and he kept on avoiding that. And then he hit the gun stun twice, and I'm just like, come on, you got to get it. He was able to hit the Supreme flow, which was great off the top rope. Like you felt like he had that chance to win. Like he was getting the crowd going. He was getting in there. They had that great back and forth, but it was just too much at the end. You had those 3 deadly moves that they had. That he's starting to use as like his setup to the Rainmaker. You had the Enziguri, you had the Cobra Fusion, and then you had the Rainmaker. Like that's been his thing set up throughout the tournament. Those 3 moves that end the match, and he hit it. And even though he didn't win, like I wanted him to win. I still think it was the wrong move because you wanted something new. You had the crowd behind Tama Tonga.
Oh
He had
yeah!
this
Oh
fresh
my
face
god!
that, like they fed into him. Like he would have been great. Like him winning the briefcase, but I don't like. There's a lot that I think I'm gonna wait until we talk about the finals first to get into. But I can see why they had Okada win this match because he's proven, and there is that storyline with Jay White there that can continue. But it doesn't take away from the match. The match was great for me. I love the match. They highlighted both guys. Of course, Okada's going to get highlighted no matter what. But they brought the most out of Tama Tonga, and then to me, he was a main event style talent on the fringe. But I think this match made him into a main event guy now. I think this match made him because he was able to go toe to toe with Okada, and then for Okada afterwards to shake his hand and to give him that recognition shows a lot.
Yeah, definitely, totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, De Niro. I want to hear what you.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, the match was great. Like, it was a phenomenal match. At that, I was on the edge of my seat. I saw it live, so it was like I stayed up all night and I'm watching this, and I was as awake as ever for this matchup. Like, I didn't even know I was tired because right after the show finished, I freaking fell right to sleep. But like after this matchup, like I felt so much more exhausted because of how great this matchup was. And I think that, both guys really delivered. I just think that they went with the wrong guy, right? I think, like you said, like there's the storyline with Jay White and Okada. I think there's the bigger storyline with Tama Tonga and Jay White. The whole Bullet Club kicking him out, Tama Tonga being one of the original members of the Bullet Club. Like, that's the bigger story. I feel like that's the story that people want to see more also. And like you said, like the crowd was behind Tama Tonga. So it's not like we're just haters over here. It's not like we're the only ones who are saying, oh, well, it's time for a change. People wanted something new. You could tell people want something new. The thought that Okada might lose was exciting people in the crowd.
Yes, it was.
So it's like, when are you going to listen to your fans? We came on here, and before we even started the tournament, we came on here, and I remember saying, if you guys are sick and tired of WWE or American style wrestling, then New Japan Pro Wrestling is the way to go, blah, 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 blah. Right? Remember, I gave the whole little spiel, like, let's come watch this, right? How am I supposed to defend this when someone says, oh, well, the WWE has the same guys on top and they don't make new stars? How am I supposed to defend New Japan Pro Wrestling doing the exact same thing here with Okada? Like, I feel like we'll talk more about it, like, for the next matchup.
I feel like they backdoored it. It was like, hey, we developed stars here, but you know what? Who are we going to have win? The stars that we know we want to win. So it's like, it wasn't like the WWE way of doing it, but it was like more of like a backdoor way of doing it.
It was like a half-ass, we make new stars.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sorry, like, you don't make new stars until stars beat your megastars.
Yeah.
Like, and when you have Tama Tonga having a amazing G1, and then we know, because another thing I was seeing a lot of people saying, like, oh, well, that was expected. At the end of the day, it is Tama Tonga versus Okada. Tama Tonga beat Okada last year. Like, Tama Tonga beat Okada in the G1 before. So, like, why is it out of the ordinary for Tama Tonga to beat Okada again? And don't forget, Okada lost in this tournament before. It wasn't like Okada was like the final boss in this tournament. He lost to Jonah. He lost in this tournament before. So I don't get why it's like, oh, I'm
going to answer that question after we talk about the finals, Tim.
I don't know why it's like, oh, well, Okada goes into like God mode when he's in like the semifinals and the finals. Like, that's the shit I don't like. That's that John Cena push that, Super Cena. It's like, I don't get why, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's not just me saying this. Like, you could tell that the crowd wanted something new and something fresh. I wasn't so mad about this as I am about the next one, just because I thought that there was still hope of Will Ospreay. We're gonna get to that right now.
But I agree with you, because when you think of this, technically Jay White has like a story tell with all three of these guys, like all three of them. But you had the long-term booking with Tama, not just booking, but long-term. long-term effects, like 6 to 8 months from now. That's the thing.
Man,
that you
the
want.
storyline with Tama goes back to 2012.
Yes.
When Bullet Club was formed, Tama Tonga was the first man in there. It was Carl Anderson, Balak Fale, Finn Balor, Tama Tonga, right? Tama Tonga was there since day one with Bullet Club, and Tama Tonga was kicked out because of the new leader, Jay White. That story goes way back almost a decade. So it's like, that's the one I feel like you need the big culmination at Wrestle Kingdom. You don't need that to pay off in a tournament matchup in the G1. Like, I
think that's but when I think about it more, I think that's a New Japan thing. I feel like they're scared to do a Wrestle Kingdom where they have two guys main event. I think
then don't bring them to the company then.
Yeah.
Then don't bring them to the company. If you don't want Gaijin to win, don't fucking bring them to the company.
Well, I don't think win. I think they're scared to put two against each other in the main event. I feel like they're okay doing like a Gaijin against one of their people, one of their Japanese stars, but I think they're afraid to do Gaijin versus Gaijin in the main event for the title. I think that's what they're scared of, because
here's the thing:
we haven't seen it before.
Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega was the highest selling Tokyo Dome show ever. And that was the semi-main event, but it wasn't until Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega was announced that they sold out. Yeah. So that's two Gaijin. So if that should be your example right there, that, hey, it does draw. And unless you take that chance, you'll never know. But all I know is there was an example of two Gaijin in a semi-main event, and it sold out the Tokyo Dome. Because when the main event was announced, it was Naito versus Okada. That was the main event of that year. It wasn't a sellout until Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega was announced.
And now they're going back to one day. They're just announced only going back to one day. They're not doing the 2 or 3 days. They're just doing the one day because they're bringing back the New Year's Dash. So I feel like I like that, and I feel like that played a part in it. They want to get the most out of it, and I still have hopes for Wrestle Kingdom. There's a lot to talk about afterwards, but you knew that Okada, like, they like to always go back to the well, and you want to see them develop these new people that can do the main event, because at the end of the day, at some point in the top, it's going to be Okada, Naito, Tanahashi, and then now you got White and OSPREAY up there too. Like, at least they developed OSPREAY, and then Jay White forced himself into that picture from the start. So at least they did that, but I feel like you had room to add Tama Tonga there.
Yes, especially with guys like Tanahashi, being at the tail end of his career, Naito being at the tail end of his career. If you're not building new stars now, then when these stars go away, you're going to be in a position where it's like, oh shit, we need to do a reset, where you could have had these guys be the next guys up already. That's why every time you have these big injuries in WWE or Roman Reigns goes away for a while, it's like, oh shit, what do we do? It's because you're not prepared to make like the next guy come up. And that's the problem I'm seeing with New Japan too. Like, when you have these opportunities to make new stars, next year when you don't have a Naito in the tournament, you're not really going to feel it as much because, hey, Tama Tonga's a big star now, because Will Ospreay's a big star now. Because, you know what I mean? Like, you would build up that next roster. So next year when you have no Tanahashi, no Naito, you'll have enough star power because you built that.
Yeah, and you thought that they had a star in Shingo. Last year was champion. He goes and loses, but now he's the KOBW champion, and he seems like more of a mid-carder now again.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with Evil. Evil won the title, and look at him now, losing 2 minutes to Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, indeed. All right. It is now time to get into the finals of this G1, ladies.
Rant to be continued.
Yep.
And the rant will be continued, of course. Kazuchika Okada versus Will Ospreay. And it was the finals. This was the match that we all been, with the post-conference, was everything else overall that Ospreay mentioned. He's like, no, I need to defeat this guy. I need to beat Okada. And I love this picture right here. I'm going to put up before I put this right here. Just that look. I'm like, oh, this match is going to be fucking intense.
That's poster quality.
If it wasn't for the ropes, I would have thought that Okada was floating in midair.
I mean, they treat him like God. Shit.
Yeah, they might
as well fly, right?
Yeah,
right. And yes, this is a poster. Fucking, it is, man. I enjoyed it.
That picture. If you go back to it, that picture tells 1,000. It tells a lot because you look. The lights on Okada. You got Ospreay. Look at him like, I want that spotlight.
Yeah.
I want the spotlight. You have the spotlight, and I want to take it from you. It tells a lot just in that one picture.
Absolutely agree.
For sure.
For sure. And then, oh man, the match, how it started off. This one right here, I enjoyed. Oh my God, I haven't seen him do that in a long time, and he did it here. And oh man, and of course with the money clip. And Okada just, staring him down. And hey, instant
I popped for that.
I popped for that too. I was like, oh my God, he did Styles Clash. There was a lot of reference, if you guys noticed too.
Mm-hmm.
And then here, of course,
past guys that beat Okada.
Yes, the Os Cutter. Of course, Ospreay was just not giving up. He had all this, the heart and soul in it, the landslide.
He pulled out the V trigger.
Yeah, the V trigger.
That was the one thing I was going to actually go into. I didn't think about that the first time, but the second time I watched it, he did the V trigger, and then he attempted to do the one-winged angel, and then he said, and then you could barely hear it, but he said, "This is for Omega."
Yes.
Oh
my God, that V trigger. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he said it as he was going to do the one-winged angel, and you're like, oh shit, like he's calling out Omega with the V trigger and then the one-winged angel combination, but then Okada reversed it right away. I'm like, if he would have hit that, that would have meant a lot.
Hell yeah.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Your winner of the G1 for his fourth G1 for him, Kazuchika Okada. He is now, he's the only one with 4 G1s in New Japan
Too
history.
many.
Yes, so like I said, Okada is your John Cena, and yes, Tim, I agree. We all have been saying it, but he is your John Cena of New Japan.
I hope somebody takes the briefcase from him.
I'm gonna go
Doctor of Rainomics.
All I know is they had the opportunity, Gato and Obari, who's the president of fucking Bushi Board and New Japan, had the opportunity to switch something different here for New Japan. Like I mentioned,
2 nights in a row. 2
nights, because you could have had 2 gaijins to make a difference. And like I said, giving the product New Japan, we said this last week, an eye on the fans to look. It took the fans to be intrigued. Like, yes, we're seeing 2 gaijins, to 1 American, 1 European, actually in the finals of this prestigious traditional tournament. Who's going to make history? But they failed to do that. The protection of Okada is too much at this point, and this is where I'm upset. The post conference of reading, and then seeing Okada, that I want to thank Bushi Board and Gato for giving me the opportunity. Now I won this. I'm gonna leave maternity leave of absence. My son was born the other day, and I'm out. Congratulations, first of all.
Congratulations, for sure.
I'm not disrespecting you at all. That's fine. But then what was the point of you winning this? That's where it got me upset. You're telling me you're gonna give this man the G1 and leaves? It would have made more sense for him to lose and leave. That would have made extreme sense. And Ospreay or either Tama, whoever could have been, doesn't matter. It would have made a hell of a difference, because now, how are you going to bring now Okada back into the story? And now looking at right now what's going on in the finals of the finals, what happened that night, a lot of things were happening, a lot of stories that are coming up heading into Royal Quest. And besides Royal Quest, we still got the Stardom and the New Japan show in next month, September. So I think we still have that coming. So you can look. You see Tama already holding the belt for the first time, and he's like, "I want this now." He really wants it. Now we see Jay White after we have Tama now after Jay White, and so now Ospreay's stuck because now he has to defend the U.S. title against now David Finlay because after his post conference, Finlay came in and interfered, and he's like, "Now it's my turn. I want my shot." You say you're gonna give it to me, right?
That was great. That was great. He was like, "Whenever you're done with your pity party here," he was like, "Defend the title against me. This is the Ospreay that I want." He was like, "I don't care when, where, how. You let me know, but I'm first in line." Because he's like, what did he say? Because Ospreay was like, "You couldn't wait one day, not one day. You had to do it now." And he was like, "I got to call my shot now." He was like, "I beat you. I want the shot." So it's going to be a Royal Crest. But I think exactly why they had him lose, which is why I think Tama Tonga lost, and then why I think Ospreay lost. Tama Tonga, they knew that Ospreay was going to take a leave. Not Ospreay, Okada was going to take a leave. So they can come back to him because I feel like after Royal Quest, he's going to come back. And then I think, just like we see every year now, he lost one time. You're going to see Jonah come back and challenge him for the briefcase. Because it happened last year with Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga was the only one to beat him, and he challenged him. And then the year before that, it happened too. Jay White beat Kota Ibushi in the A and B blocks, and then he challenged him, and he actually won it 2 years ago. So I think we're going to see the same thing with Jonah. You're just going to wait. They don't want to do everything all at once. I think they want to hold that, and him going on paternity kind of helps out a little bit. It sucks. I didn't think that he should have won it, but they're going to play it off that way. We're going to get Tama and Jay White at Royal Crest, likely for the belt. But the big thing with Ospreay is, just like I said before, with the V-trigger and with the one-wing angel attempt, this to me solidified that's going to be Ospreay and Omega at Wrestle Kingdom. That's going to be their big draw, that match. Just like you said with the whole Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega and how it got the views because of that match. This is going to be the same thing. This is going to be your 2022 version of that with Ospreay and Omega, but with the rising star in Ospreay. That you're seeing him. He's going to
get that match now.
Yeah, he's going to Dynamite next week. He's going to do the trios things. He does a lot with Rev Pro. He has a big time match in Rev Pro in a couple of weeks against Speedball Mike Bailey. He's all over the place, and he's a very known commodity now because of how he improved himself with the United Empire, going to different promotions, and now Omega's been a guy that's been missed in AEW. He comes back and gets cheered like he did. I think it's 100% happening now. I think they would be dumb not to go to it because you're going to have Okada right now challenge at Wrestle Kingdom, even though I think he might lose the briefcase against whoever the champion is. And then you need a match like this to kind of be like, okay, we went back to Okada, but this is why, because we want to do this once in a lifetime matchup between Ospreay and Okada that kind of developed organically on social media with him mocking him with the one-winged angel. He did it to Nick Wayne a couple of times on the indie scene at GCW and whatnot. I think that's what they're doing with that in Spell. And it sucks, but the bigger matchup is not what who won the G1 here. The bigger matchup that we're going to get is what Ospreay developed on social media.
I also think a big matchup will be Ospreay versus White in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, because that could have been a draw too.
The thing with that though is they hinted at it, but you could do like, I'm not saying that this is what they're going to do, but you can always do that next year because both guys are young. And they want to, and I think they want to capitalize on Omega now.
Next year Okada's going to be in the main event though.
he probably will.
I mean, shit. But yeah, I mean, the matchup itself was phenomenal, right? And that's no pun intended because he pulled out the Styles Clash. But the matchup was definitely great, and I was a big fan of this match. And I thought there was numerous times where Ospreay was going to finish him off. And like I said, I'm a fan of Okada. I just did not want him to win this tournament again. 2 years in a row. This is the fourth time he won it all together. It just feels like they're going to the well one too many times with him. I don't know what's the fear of not pushing this guy. Like, he's already a known commodity. He's already established. You're not going to hurt him by having him lose a G1 climax. You know what I mean? That's the problem here. I feel like Gato thinks that we're hurting Okada if Okada loses. I mean, there's no fear of Okada leaving New Japan. I don't think Okada ever leaves New Japan. I don't think Okada, like, he's going to be one of those guys. He's a mainstay. He's going to retire in New Japan. Yeah. I don't think he's ever going to sign somewhere in the States like Nakamura did. You know what I mean? So I don't know why they're doing all this. I feel like it's too much too soon. It's like, all right, Okada's still fairly young. Okada has what, maybe like another like 5-6 years, 7 years, maybe. Like, Okada's going to be here for a long time. Why are you doing all this now? Why are you doing it all this like right away where it gets stale and then he's going to be a guy, unless you switch up the character or make him turn heel or something, he's going to be a guy that people already are tired of, and he has a lot of shelf life left. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just weird. Like, it kind of reminds me of like Charlotte, right? Charlotte's someone who came into WWE and she got like 15 title reigns within her first like 3 years. And it's like, all right, you're doing a little too much too soon. And even though Okada's been there for years, it's like you're still pushing him like he's like the hot hand when you're kind of turning a blind eye to, you know, guys that are ready to get that next like step in their career. And I don't know what it is. Like, I just feel like Gato doesn't see anybody else but Okada. I feel like he books the show as, what is Okada doing? What is Naito doing? What is Tanahashi doing? All right, everyone else figure out your match. And it sucks when it's like that because, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's going to get to a point where the people are tired of him. I see that now. I see that the fans were going for Ospreay. The fans were going for Tama. Like, the fans were happy that Okada won, but imagine the pop if Ospreay won. Yeah. Like, people want change.
I think they put themselves in an issue where, if you look at last year going into this year, last year Okada won. He fought Ospreay for the belt. Well, because Ospreay beat Okada beat Shingo and then he beat Okada beat Shingo and then beat Ospreay and unified those belts. He wins after winning the G1.
Yeah.
Then at Dominion, he loses to Jay White. They wrestled each other already at Dominion, where the result was Okada losing. So now you're telling me that you want to revisit that as we speak. Things can change. Maybe Jay White could drop it. But as of right now, it's right now Okada versus Jay White once again. And you're going to have Okada revenge and take the belt back. So that's 2 straight years that he won the G1 and then won in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom with the belt.
But he's been doing this for years, though. It wasn't just 2 straight years. He's been doing this for years. Like, AJ Styles beats him for the belt. He beats AJ Styles for the belt back a month later. Naito beats him for the belt. Okada beats Naito back for the belt. Ospreay beats him. It doesn't matter. Whenever Okada loses the belt, it's only for at most like a 3-month period before Okada gets it back.
Yeah, because what are you gonna do with it? Because there's been times where, yes, he has lost. Like, he did lose at Wrestle Kingdom to Jay White, but then he beat him. Also, like, they've rotated wins and losses.
Yeah, he beat him in the Garden.
Yeah, he beat him there to get the belt. There after losing to him before. It's like, it's always going back to Okada, and then whenever they do, it's just like you said. Whenever they want to put it back on Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, they try and book a big time never before matchup right before it to kind of soften the blow that you know that he's going to get that opportunity yet again.
You know what that tells me? That tells me that they don't have faith in Okada main eventing and selling out the Tokyo Dome at this point. Because if you
No.
think about it,
I think they have faith. I just think the fans want to. I think the fans want to see change, and they're not giving them the change.
I get that, but if every single time Okada is getting his rematch for the title at Wrestle Kingdom, you have to book this once in a lifetime matchup before it.
Yeah,
it's because we need something to sell the show. Because we're doing the same thing we did last year.
And I think Ospreay would beat Omega because when Omega and Jericho did it, you know what? Ospreay. I think they gave the Jericho one that, right?
No, Omega beat Jericho.
Omega beat Jericho. Okay, yeah, that's right. Like I know they've wrestled many times since then. So
Jericho beat him in the first AEW.
Because Omega is now with AEW, that he would just put over Ospreay because this is another big time guy the one Gaijin that got over in the main event at the first time, which was Omega. He could put over Ospreay and then come back, and it'd be a big thing for both companies.
I would like to see Omega stick around in New Japan for a little bit, do some things with New Japan, do some things with Coda, hopefully.
He was the best. I don't know if it's crazy news that right after the G1, it came out that it looks like Kota Ibushi's not coming back. Yeah. And it was from somebody within the company and like put it out there. What's going on? Hi, Tom. What's going on? It was a great tournament. I'm not happy with Okada winning it again. I wanted somebody fresh.
That's big news if Kota doesn't resign. I mean, I would like to see Kota come to AEW then. Like, I just want to see Kota in any company with Omega because the Golden Lovers was a fantastic tag team.
Oh, yes. I mean, I do see Ospreay and Omega probably it can happen. I mean, right now with the speculation right now, what we know, because I want to get into it. I mean, overall, I mean, we already digressed on this. It's an unfortunate, Bushi board and Gato. I don't get it either. I wish they could obviously get. Oh my God, it is like get over the hype. I mean, I guess you would protect your commodity, your asset of Okada, but I hope next year's G1 can be different this time, and they have the opportunity. I hope they don't slip this time, and this time they need to make it more intriguing. I think the most intriguing would be if they decide to do this, if they don't put Okada at all in. I will be in shock if they don't put him in, but they have to because he has to defend the G1. Yeah, he might have to defend it maybe. But because you got to defend your G1, I guess you could call it that way.
Yeah, and it usually happens like one or two times. Just like I said, you got Jonah. You know that match is going to happen between him and Jonah.
But I definitely see Okada beating Jonah.
Yeah, Okada's going to beat Jonah. But I could see him defended one more time, and I'm just like, if he could get the belt off of Jay White at least, maybe it may add some intrigue to it. Because just like I said, even if Tama doesn't win the belt next month, if you take the belt off of Jay and it could be somebody else, then I might be okay because then you could still get Jay versus Tama at Wrestle Kingdom. You can have Ospreay versus Omega, and then you could have Okada against whoever the champion is. It's just
who's ready for that title shot to main event right now. I think the biggest match you could go with right now, if Okada is still going to win it, is Okada Jay White.
You know who's going to be.
No, but you know what's going to happen, though. But here's
there's one name it's going to be, and going back to the well
Tanahashi?
Once again. No, not Tanahashi.
Oh, Naido.
Naito.
Yeah. Please no. No, not Naito. Please no.
I don't want it, but that it could happen.
Dan, tranquilo, please.
No. Here we go. Yes, here we go. I have to look. Oh shit, where are you? Jesus Christ.
I would.
Tranquilos. But look. Okay,
let's not attract that.
Here's the thing for Wrestle Kingdom of what's going to happen, because now I want to get into it now because might as well get into it. So this is the upcoming feuds that we're seeing ever since the final night, and these are the following storylines that I'm putting here. You already see Tanahashi challenging Carl Anderson for the number one openweight title. That's already in the works. It might happen.
Did you see the belt? Did you see the belt at the presser?
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
he's calling it the Bullet Club belt now, and just like the hardcore title, they put a picture of the Bullet Club over top of the belt, and they taped it on.
Oh, okay.
It
I gotta see
funny.
that.
I'll try and find it, but then like, I thought that was hilarious when I saw it.
I like that matchup though.
Yeah, I think it's great to see Carl too, not being as a singles competitor in quite some time. We haven't seen him done in New Japan forever. I mean, he's a tag team specialist, but seeing him in Tanahashi, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that for number one openweight title, something fresh. We might see that for Royal Quest 2 that which is coming up in October. And then you have Doc Gallows and Toriano back at it again. This is going back. Who is the KOPW champion?
It's Shingo.
Shingo, right?
It's Shingo.
Okay.
That's the one you didn't put on there. It's Shingo versus El Phantasmo, because Shingo did the presser after. Well, first it was Kenta. Kenta came in. He read a verb from his book. And he did this funny. It is funny thing, and then all of a sudden you see him finish, and then you see ELP sitting down. He goes, "Bravo, bravo! This was one of the best things I've watched." And then you see you only have one name. I don't even know what your last name is, but you're Kenta. Kenta with no last name. He goes off, and then you still see the shirt design from yesterday, from the day before, on the board. He goes, "This shirt is still there. I like this, but you know what? We got option 2 now." It was like the first shirt was ELP is your daddy, and then the second shirt is he goes, "I am Shingo's daddy." He was like, "That's option 2." He was like, "Whichever one you want, option 1 or option 2." He was like, "But that's what it is." He was like, "I am Shingo's daddy." Shingo comes in after. He goes, "This isn't how I saw my summer ended." He was like, "I feel embarrassed." He was like, "You know what? My mission now is El Phantasmo. Like I want El Phantasmo now." He's like, "I'm going to rampage through El Phantasmo, so you better watch out." So I see them going at each other for the KOPW title. I mean, trophy. I'm just intrigued to see what kind of thing they use. What kind of stipulation?
That was his face when Shingo ripped the fucking book.
Yes.
He was like, "Oh, you son
man.
of a bitch." I really enjoyed that. So we have, look, by the looks of it, I mean, so you're okay. No. So we got Shingo. Okay, so that's one thing I forgot to add to.
And then Tama and Jay White.
Yeah, you still have Tama and Jay White. You're still gonna have that. Also, you're gonna have Naito and Zack Sabre, because from the incident from what happened in the G1, we're still gonna have that happening no matter what. And then we're gonna have Sonata and Taichi, because that's not over yet. I'm telling you.
Are these matches that you are predicting are going to be at Wrestle Kingdom, or just the next feud up?
I think the next feud up for Royal Quest.
All right, Royal Quest. All right,
and then don't forget Ospreay and David Finlay.
Yeah. For Royal Quest, which I mean, these storylines will help kind of like develop what's next for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying it now, because seeing that, seeing Sonata and Taichi, I guarantee you, like, who's the greatest Muda student of all, and that's gonna be what the storyline's about. Kushida and Taiji Shimori, of course, for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Yeah. We're seeing that in the works, because seeing Kushida back, of course, I'm happy to see him. We got Chaos and, of course, the House of Torture, because they have the number openweight 6-man, so we're seeing that happening. And so, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Ishimori.
We got another one, another backstage one. It is Jeff Cobb and Great O'Khan against Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale again. They had a run-in backstage, and Jeff Cobb going back and forth, and Jeff Cobb was like, "You know what? Let's just end this." He was like, "Us versus you. The winner gets the next shot at FTR at the titles." So it looks like they're going to be doing that.
Oh man, I'm looking forward. It's going to be, it's going to be a lot of great feuds coming up for Royal Quest. And that's going to be, of course, on October. It's a 2-night event, October 1st and October 2nd, of course, at the O2 Arena. So I'm looking forward of how that's going to turn
It's a
out.
big arena. I'm excited for that.
Oh, hell yeah.
And what's the event that they just added an event the week after that?
Well,
is that a New Japan Stardom thing?
No. Oh, no. Before that, they added September 11th is going to be here in Vegas, Autumn Attack.
Well, they got that, but Monday, October 10th, they got Declaration of Power.
That's the Stardom event. No. That's November, I think.
Yeah. November 20th is
the Stardom event.
X-Over, the crossover. That's the crossover. But I'm wondering what this.
And then they got the New York show in October too.
Yeah, that's October 28th. But I'm wondering what this Declaration of Power event is going to be, because they have it listed Monday, October 10th at Ryo Goku Kakagan or whatever that's called. That's the venue that's going to be at. But there's they haven't talked about it. I just so happened to see it on the schedule.
Yeah, I mean it's intriguing. I mean, I'm looking forward for these storylines that are coming up as well. These are the ones that I hope and it's good to see Gallows and Doc back. I loved it, even the post conference. Sure. I was just seeing, you got him, Yano. You see, you got him. I know Gallows has small balls. Okay, I'm like, oh, you're burying your own partner.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And then seeing Yano go, no, and then just leave.
I have a question. Did you guys see the article where Dave Meltzer said that there's going to be a number of AEW talent that's going to be involved in Wrestle Kingdom?
That's what I was going to get.
God, I'm a fucking spoiler. I'm sorry.
No. I saw it, and then the first thing off the top of my head is Omega, FTR. I see them.
I want Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson. That match needs to happen.
I could see Bryan Danielson going there too, but then there's also still that hope of Punk versus Tanahashi.
Nah, CM Punk is in his feelings right now. Not going to happen.
Not happening.
He's too much in his feelings right now.
Okay, replace him with Colt Cabana. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Tanahashi has a mystery opponent. All of a sudden, boom.
So that is the rumor right now. It's pretty much AEW New Japan Part 2, the Forbidden Door, but to be the Night 3. That's the rumor right now. That they want to make that happen, because the year before, when it was New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah, they had that Night 3, but that was like a couple of days after, Night 2 of Kingdom.
That was
so
like
a couple of days after that. Yeah.
So would that be Night 2 because they're only doing one night of Wrestle Kingdom?
No, they're still going to stick to 2 nights for Wrestle Kingdom.
No, they actually just put it out there that they're only doing one night now.
Really?
Yeah, and they even.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They just announced, because even they were talking to Kushida at his thing. He was like, now that Wrestle Kingdom is going back to one night, like a lot of things are going to change, because they brought back New Year's Dash, which is going to be the next day, the next night. Just so it's back to like the normal schedule where it's Wrestle Kingdom, New Year's Dash, and it's like the start over, the reset button.
Yeah, with that being said, I think that they probably just bring in like AEW talent for like the Battle Royal and shit that they do the pre-show.
Yeah.
Well, man, if it's just like they brought over like the Factory or something, I'm gonna be pissed. Like, give us the dream matches.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, if it's only night 1, then they could just do a 2-night, but have AEW versus New Japan, then that'll be your second night, and that'll be it. I mean, that's what you want to see. But I think everybody is going to ask for it. That's what I'm waiting for this All Out to get over. Because why? I want Bryan fucking Danielson to go to Japan and just call out Zack Sabre. Oh, you calling me out, you piece of shit? I'm here. I am here in New Japan. That's what I want.
I'm going to kick your fucking head in too.
Yeah.
There you go.
And Zack did say, he was like,
I was gonna say that's a Ned Flanders moment.
And Zack did say, he was like, I'm not going there anymore. They're like, if you want to fight me, you can come here. So,
and guess what? He wants to. That's the reason why he left WWE. It was not to go to AEW. If you remember, he left WWE because he wanted to go wrestle in Japan.
Yeah,
he wanted to wrestle with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and WWE wasn't able to get the deal with New Japan because they wanted an exclusive deal with them.
Yeah, and then he wanted to wait until the crowds were allowed to be back. So now that the crowds are back, and there's no restrictions, and now that starting in September, they'll be able to cheer again and be normal. It's going to entice Bryan Danielson to go over even more, because that's going to be just like it is over here. No restrictions. You get the cheer, you get the crowd going. it's going to make the experience even better.
Oh my God, I know, and I just can't wait. You know, I really can't wait because now you have the Burning Spirit Tour, starting on the Labor Day weekend, which I want to. I think we'll get to it. I think we're gonna get to that. I think we'll come back. We'll take a week break from New Japan, and then we'll come back during the Labor Day weekend because I really want to see how the crowd's going to react for the first time now seeing them.
And I want to see how they book too. I want to see the matches that they book. If there's anything they try and shock us with, like, oh, we're going to go in this direction or that direction, because that when they come back, not only are they going to have that listed, but more than likely they're going to have the Royal Crest listing as well for you to get an idea of what the matches are going to be. Because that's how New Japan does it. They're like, they give you the matches right there, and then they have everything else before it just to do the lead up. That's why I feel like when these stories developing on the final night are going to be the ones for heading into Royal Quest. I'm still thinking maybe what's going to happen is that Naido and Sonata are going to be in a tag match against it's obviously the Texombre and Taichi. I don't. Yes. Once again, take $6 million. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a tag match between them. And then probably later they're gonna start feuding singles individually. But it is a 2-night event, so they might do it separately. And another thing is too, they're gonna bring in Stardom stars into that event, which is one now makes sense. Why is it a 2-night event? Or it is something that we don't know that maybe we're gonna see the AEW stars coming in that October. Because it's every quarter pay-per-view for AEW, so it's going to be over for All Out. What's next in October? And there's nothing in November until when? December, right? December, right? When they have the last.
I think November is full gear.
Yeah, it's
full gear, right? It's November, right?
It's the first week of November,
and then they don't do another pay-per-view until February. They got Revolution.
Yeah, I think. Okay. Which is sometimes it's February, sometimes it's March.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So man, overall, man, this was
quite the journey.
Yeah.
Yes, man. I can't wait for.
Now that I'm thinking about like going through this talk and whatnot, now it's just like going back to the past of the G1. I am actually feeling more with you guys with the 4 blocks. Because if you think about it before, I was thinking about it a couple of years ago. I remember that when Sonata and Ibushi were in the finals, that final day was a 5-hour event. I remember it starting on Eastern time, at 3 in the morning, and it didn't end until like 7 or 8.
Yes,
and a lot of events were going 4 or 5 hours long.
Yeah,
and then this event was only 3 hours and 30 minutes, but that's
more digestible.
But it was really 3 hours because of matches, so it was like a lot easier to go through, and that's what it was for each day because of the only having 4 singles matches and whatnot. So I feel like with it being that way, it's going to make shorter events, which is going to be easier for people to watch.
Yeah, but unless
especially for the crowd there, like you can't tell them sit there and be quiet for 5 hours.
Yeah. I mean, unless you get rid of the pre fights and just go straight towards the tournament matches only. I mean, add 1 or 2, and then just go towards the tournament, all the tournament matches of the G1 if you're gonna go back to the 2 block, because that's a lot of time. I mean, that's like a WrestleMania. Fuck, it's only like a fucking WrestleMania. You'd rather have. I mean, that's why. That's what I'm saying. I feel that the 4 block works better because it gives everybody the time to rest and for the crowd to enjoy at least. If they can minimize, at least make it a 2 hour or 1 hour and a half, just add the tournament matches only and make it more,
I know one thing though. I'm gonna need these 2 weeks to just
catch back
and reset. No, just to reset because of all the matches that we watched this month.
Oh man,
because like New Japan's easy to watch because it's like the same match over and over for like a month, and then you got the pay-per-view. But like with this, you literally have to sit down and watch every match, watch it, digest it, see where they're going from there. And like I had to like prep myself for the month. I really had to prep myself to do it, and like I enjoyed it, but it's like, damn, now I need like a week or two.
That last night of the tournament was rough.
Yeah,
like when we had to like watch 5 matches, that was rough.
Yeah,
I know, man. It was rough, but we will take a week off because I really want to come back at least for the Labor Day just to see. I want to recap at least maybe at least 2 of the nights of that Labor Day weekend because I want to see how the crowd's reaction and that's where I want to see who they're gonna favor to, who they're not. Are they gonna be like, well, with the heels? Oh yeah, big time.
So they're gonna have it that Friday and Saturday. Is the 2nd and 3rd, and then they're gonna have Monday. Jeez, they're going Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday. So we'll be able to, if we do it again, catch a couple of days of it.
I was coming up with an idea. I think next year when we do G1, we should bring on somebody who is not typically a New Japan fan and see if they watched every match of the G1, if we could convert them. That would be a cool concept, right?
You're making us sound like a cult.
Right? You will enjoy New Japan. Say it after me.
Wait. No. Join the G1.
Join the G1. Join the G order.
The G order.
Oh, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in today here for our recap. I want to thank everybody on the chat for tuning in. I appreciate you, Tim, Nick, and Cleveland, everybody. Dirty Heels, thank you so much for tuning in. But we'll take a week break, so we'll be back on the Labor Day week of Tuesday because we want to see obviously how the fans' reaction is going to be. But don't forget to subscribe to NewJapanWorld.com, and while you're doing that, subscribe to us here. Subscribe to, of course, to Cage by IQ. Subscribe to the Circle of Debate as well, where you all catch the Wrestling Delorean Podcast here every Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Pacific. And, of course, you catch us here every Thursday, and sometimes it's Fridays, and sometimes Wednesdays for our MMAs, and Tuesdays for our New Japan shows. But we'll be back in 1 week, and we want to – this is the biggest homework we have done a fucking month. Oh my God. Staying up until like middle of the night, catching up on everything. Man, now we know how Kevin Kelly and Chris feels when they're fucking doing their G.
Yeah, but they're used to it. They're getting paid for it too.
I know.
I mean, the many times I was watching it and then my girl was like, "You're still up?" I'm like, "Yeah, baby, go back to sleep. I'm watching New Japan." Go to sleep.
The only thing I'll say is the thing that was great about it was every night was in English right away.
Yes.
But now we got to go back to where it's going to be, okay, they're going to have this and this in Japanese, and you're going to have to wait like 3 days for it to be in English.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not mad at it, though. I'll
watch it anyway. But
I always feel like the show is very exciting with the Japanese commentary because they're all like Don West. Like, they all yell for everything, and I love it. Like,
they're all fucking Don West. Hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Don West energy.
Oh man,
thank you, Tim. I appreciate you.
We gotta get you on. We'll get you on, brother, because I want to see if we get you on that Tuesday. So we want to get your thoughts about basically the fans' reaction now for the first time and no mask. I'm really intrigued, man. I'm looking forward.
Yeah.
But man, of course, New Japan is gonna have their strong this weekend. Saturday they have the High Alert, which that's a pre-recorded show, which is gonna be aired on New Japan World. So I gotta spoil that one for you because you probably know the spoilers already. And this Sunday, which I'll try to go because I'm having difficult times, is the Fighting Spirit Unleash, which Kushida will be there because Kushida will be teaming up with Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta, and Taylor Russ versus the Bullet Club, Jay White, Juice Robinson, Chase Owens, and Hiko Leo. And then you have Robbie Eagles versus Kevin Blackwood, Máscara Dorada versus Misterioso, QT Marshall versus Keita Murray, Alan Angels versus Taji Ishimori, Adrian Quest versus Peter Avalon, Che Cabrera versus Aaron Solo, and you have Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis versus Joro Nelson and Royce Isaac, Christopher Daniels and Yuya versus Bad Dude Tito and Shane Haste, Jordan Cruz and Cody Chun versus Team Filthy, Kratos, and Lawler, and the DKC Kevin Knight versus Tyler Bateman and Barrett Brown. So that's a lot of good matches coming up for the Fighting Spirit. I'm going to try to go to that. That's this Sunday here down the street from my house. So I'm going to try. But, you know, when you have family, you have things to do.
And if you haven't checked it out, like I just checked it out, and it was great. Robbie Eagles was just down in, of course, Mexico. And he wrestled.
My God, yes.
And he wrestled for the middleweight title there. So check that out. Like he did a 3-on-3. He challenged the champ for it, and then they wrestled the match, I believe, a few days later. So if you can find it out, check it out. It was a great match. Enjoyed it. It was good to see Robbie Eagles go down there while he has his month off. He also was in, of course, the U.S. And then and now he's going to be on New Japan Strong. So I'm kind of envious because I really like Robbie Eagles. He's one of my favorite junior heavyweights. And for him to be all the way over there right near you and not be able to see him, it sucks. But then also check out the Vegas Strong in a couple weeks because Shingo Takagi is going to be there, which is really cool.
Oh, my God. I'm a bit pissed because you know what's going to be there? We know who they announced? Sonata's going to be there. So I'm like, yes.
No.
Oh, my God. I'm mad because it's like, Jesus, I want to go to that show so bad. I want to go to Vegas.
Yeah, but... and then me and Janira were just talking about the New York City one. I'm thinking about going to that in October. The Rumble on, was it 44th Street, 45th, whatever. Whatever
44th Street.
44th Street. I'm intrigued by that because it's going to be – it's crazy how they've been pushing the New Japan Stardom event, but the first event between the two is going to be on Strong. How weird is that?
Yeah.
That they're going to make that the first one.
And you guys are going to get Stardom the first tour. I think New York is.
They're going to be there. So I'm like, that's interesting that the first event to have both will be on Strong, which is very cool, which is smart because you want to keep on pushing the New Japan over here in the U.S. And that's going to be a pay-per-view. So I'm still waiting to see
stars there.
Yeah. So I'm still.
And there you have it, right there, Friday, October 28th.
So I'm still waiting to see.
44th Street.
So I'm still waiting to see what their show, the taping show is going to be because it's likely going to be the day after somewhere else. So I'm intrigued to see where they come after that.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. But man, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is the host Steve is what I've been seeing. Of course, you're with Mike Nero and Big Dan, Cage Mike Q, Wrestling Delorean. That we all don't just make podcasts. So tranquilo, we'll be back. We'll take a week break. We'll be back. But we don't just all make podcasts. We all make fucking history.
Will
over and over
make
over and over
history
over and over and over and over.